Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today is January 17th, and we're doing robots and nonsense for your Friday in the winter, in January.
Both true. And here is a terrifying prediction from CNN Business, who they've done some polling of business owners, and they all have one thing to say.
41% of companies worldwide plan to reduce their workforces by 2030 due to AI. And Salesforce just announced they're not hiring any new developers for the first time in 10 years because AI.
They're probably being too hopeful, but what we've seen with AI so far is that even when it doesn't quite work enough, they're still happy with it. It's like, oh, this is so cheap. If it works like 60%, we're just going to do it anyway. And our product is going to suck, but you'll deal with it.
That's kind of the future, though. I mean, if you look at like the collapse of our society, it's like the people that actually knew how to do things have all been pushed out. And the people that had originally set everything up to run really well, everything is running so well, it continues to run, even though if it stops running, the people that are left will have no idea how to get it going again.
And if you get arrested on a felony charge of any importance, it is just immediate that your Google searches are going to be subpoenaed. And they're going to go through everything that you've ever searched on Google, which is weird because in a lot of murder cases, the people will immediately search how to get away with murder. Like, how do you not know that? But now we have a new thing that's going to be subpoenaed every time power is angry at you.
The Hill's headline is, "Man used ChatGPT to plan the Las Vegas Cybertruck blast." But after looking over the man's ChatGPT history, I think that's a bit of a stretch. The man was using ChatGPT as a life coach.
Which is weird because he made some weird life decisions.
He did, yeah. I don't think ChatGPT pushed him into those decisions, but it's a bit like saying, the bomber used a Cybertruck, or the bomber was into vaping, or the bomber was an Android user. Like, okay.
Yeah, but the point is, don't talk to AI, at least not the publicly available ones, about anything that you would not care about cops reading. That's the critical point.
And taking out of context and twisting.
And don't make the mistake that people make with their phones that, oh, I deleted that image. No, you didn't. If you delete your chat, guess what? It's still there. They're going to train on it.
TLDR, stay noited.
It's the best advice we can give you, even though I don't know what it means.
Stay paranoid.
Oh, okay. Remember the Noid from Domino's?
Yeah.
Are you young enough for that? Are you old enough for that?
Oh, wow.
What is that?
Avoid the Noid. He was like he was their mascot, except he was evil and he would try to get your pizza.
Oh.
Yeah. You should look him
Their
up.
pizza's so good that there's an evil person out there trying to get it.
The Noid, yeah.
Oh.
Now we know that most of our social media comments are AI at this point. You're going to have entire personalities on Facebook and Meta and so forth. And it's all fake, and maybe you want to just escape that, do a little online gaming. Well, guess what?
Nvidia's AI NPCs are no longer chatbots. They're your new PUBG teammates.
I don't want them on my team, but I do love killing the bots in PUBG. Like, that's fun.
Just because we're not able to kill them.
Yeah, we play bot matches when we play PUBG, and it's so fun to just run them over.
So they did a little demo here, and the people were like, hey, AI friend, go find us a vehicle. And it went and got it and brought it back to him. However, this was not shown live. It was cuts. So we don't know how good it actually was.
If it's like their current AI, I don't know if I'd trust it to be on my team.
But it's coming. You're going to get it. And you won't always know, probably. And Google is deciding to branch out their AI into a new field.
Google is forming a new team to build AI that can simulate the physical world in a project that's kicking off something that Nvidia was doing 5 years ago and just showed off at CES.
This just sounds like the metaverse.
More importantly, the people who craft maps and worlds in video games, we don't need them anymore. They'll be replaced.
But
I mean, it's kind of empowering, though. If you work on a video game, you could just tell the AI, it's like, I want a spooky thing that does this and on an island layout.
except a good video game designer is designing the map in such a way that, like, the user understands how to move through it, and like the lighting is designed so it's like, oh, go this way, or like there's going to be a choke here and there's going to be a cool encounter here. Like, Maybe AI could get to that eventually, but like just copying the real world doesn't mean it's going to be a good video game layout.
AI is just going to put yellow paint on everything.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
just an
where to go.
arrow. Yeah. Go. It's like an IKEA layout.
Did we? No, this is a different one, right? Yeah. Okay, this is a different Microsoft. Yeah, all that money they're saving on those employees, they're really throwing that around. They're going to be throwing around a ton of money in 2025.
Microsoft plans to invest $3 billion in AI in their cloud in India. That doesn't seem like a lot when they said they were going to spend $80 billion on other data centers.
Well, the workers are cheapers and they work 80, 90 hours a week. Easy.
Not voluntarily, but they've been voluntold to do that.
What are they going to do? Stare at their wife? Isn't that what that guy said?
And we have a
Straight to
lawsuit about AI, about the whole copyright argument. And was it the Google one who they claimed was just like, listen, it's cheaper for us to pay the fines.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out Mr. Zuckerberg might have had a similar idea.
Mark Zuckerberg gave Meta's Llama team the okay to train on copyrighted works and films filing claims. And he's not wrong. I mean, technically under U.S. law, it is not. That's okay.
So this was LibGen, which is a pirate thing for books and so forth. And, the publishers have had a lot of contention with that. So they were like, hey, Mark, we got LibGen here, and there's clearly some authors in here that we don't have copyright for. They claim in the lawsuit, I don't know if it's true or not, they claim that his solution was strip attribution. And then we'll just claim we didn't know.
His problem was not being paranoid enough and not putting that in an email. Everyone else getting away with it, but you have to put it in an email.
Well, it's easy to get outraged, but here is the useful thing. Like, if I buy a book and I ask my AI assistant to read the book and help me answer questions about the book, that should be okay.
It's not.
It's not, but it should be. I mean, it actually might be, but
there's scale coming to that argument because it is different for what he's doing than what you're doing.
Yeah, that is true. It is very hard for me to build an AI agent that has a context window to do that, and it's very hard for me to afford to be able to train a model in that way.
Well, it is hard to train models, but this man, who has made some wild predictions before, but has also delivered on some wild predictions before, is making perhaps his most optimistic one.
Sam Altman says OpenAI has figured out how to build AGI, and it sounds like science fiction right now, and somewhat crazy to even talk about. But there were some other people on his team that tweeted some more hints about what they were working on. And basically, it's not just the large language model. They also have another model that is for specific things like iconic reasoning and tokenized mathematical reasoning, which is one of the things that large language models sucks at. It's like, if you have one of this and two of that, does that make three of this? Okay, what about what about 10, 20? And it doesn't deal with it symbolically correctly. So they were like, well, let's figure out the symbolic problem. So apparently they figured out the symbolic problem, and they have another model that does really well with math and like icon-based or symbolic-based reasoning. And that plus a large language model has something that is AGI-ish.
I'm not convinced. And if you want to add AI to something, the answer is always yes. Yes, you should. You should do it, and you can, and it's going to be better. And
it should pop up at the bottom of your website and flash and get it in people's way.
Well, I don't know if there's a website involved here.
No.
But there is AI that is taking on a job that you might not expect. I'm going to try to time this correctly.
At the intersection of AI and spirituality, the AI is going to write the sermons, and it's going to speak to people, and it's going to be the second coming of religion, using the machine spirits, which sounds a little Warhammer to me.
So this fellow here is a rabbi, apparently quite a popular one, and he greeted his congregation. Do you call it a congregation if it's in the temple?
I don't know.
There was like his voice came over and it said some stuff, and then he came up and he was like, hey, did you like that message? It wasn't me. It was actually just AI emulating me. And people were convinced. And he's also been using it to craft his sermons, apparently not alone.
I feel like I would just get up and walk out. It's like, well, I came here. I want to hear your perspective.
Well, here's the question, right, that they bring up. A lot of people in religion claim that no, I'm not talking to you. This is me channeling God, right? Can AI channel God? Engagement challenge.
Only with at least
It's a heavy
4
question for engagement challenge.
Only with at least 4 grams of gray matter.
We're going to use those brain in a jar. The brainlets. What do they call those?
Oh.
The organelle brain. I don't know.
Remember Rabbit?
Yeah.
Apparently these people don't.
Omni, a competitor to Friend, wants to boost your productivity using AI and a brain interface.
I'm tired of being productive, boss.
Now, doesn't this feel very Borg to you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like that looks like a very Borg image.
Great if you have a zit in that spot, though.
You can just
cover
move
right
it to
up.
different spots on your face to cover up. Sometimes you have to have multiple ones.
Yeah, yeah.
So this thing's gonna. You can also wear it as a necklace, if you prefer that.
Nerd.
And you talk to it. It's just like, hey, you should save this. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if I trust it. It works through your phone, and I think it needs a language model outside of itself. And the whole question of, what are we all going to be doing when AI takes our jobs? And the answer is probably just going to have to die because there's going to be literally nothing left for us to do. Maybe gig work. Maybe it'll be all just delivery.
John Deere thinks driverless tractors are the answer to labor shortages.
Who do you deliver to? Who can afford it? You deliver to the bunker?
They're probably not wrong. I mean, if John Deere is serious about this, they should come up with the farmerless farms. They should just go ahead and start building the robots. It's going to do the planting. It's going to do the sowing. It's going to do literally everything. I mean, come on, lean into it.
I think they're working on it.
I think at this point, is the job just taking care of the driverless tractors? Are you the repairman?
Yeah.
I guess that's the job.
They'll build a robot for that.
Yeah,
And
that could be.
Amazon sells that one.
It's just robots.
I mean,
down.
the humanoid robots, like that'll be their
Yeah.
job, right? It's to service the other robots.
There's a half a dozen companies that have shipped like the humanoid robots to software developers, and I'm following some of those on Twitter, and it is fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. Some of those robots, some of the humanoid robots, like the kitchen robot that I'm always wanting, it's like the thing has 8 or 10 hours of battery life, and it has 5 fingers and enough dexterity and like we're just lacking the software. It's there.
Well, the robots are convenient and everything, and maybe I would like a kitchen robot. I don't know. But they can be unpredictable. And when they are unpredictable, it seems like because we're rushing into this so hard, the safeguards are just not there.
LA man nearly misses flight as self-driving Waymo taxi drivers around in a parking lot in circles.
Tuck and roll.
He had to call support, and support's like, oh, yeah, I see it's doing that. All right, we'll get you fixed. And they got him to his flight, just barely. But he's got some amazing video of it.
But he would have to dive out of a moving vehicle
Yeah.
to escape it. There was no way to stop it.
Well, and if he had put his suitcase in the trunk, like he just chased the Waymo.
What would happen if you crawled up there and put your foot on the brake?
I really thought that a lot of these had an emergency stop button somewhere. Like you could just hit the button and it would emergency stop and call somebody.
I would definitely be up there trying to fight that wheel, right? How strong is that motor?
Yeah. You're not the boss of me, machine.
And this one is a beautiful little piece of hypocrisy because remember the announcements from every AI company, how they're going to be in business with the militaries across the world?
OpenAI shuts down the developer who made the AI-powered gun turret. And you should watch the video because he just talks to it, and it's like, you should shoot on these arcs, and you should shoot in these variables. And it's like, okay, and it just does it.
And it was the ChatGPT API using the voice commands. So this was kind of like off-the-shelf turret. But they didn't like that because that was really bad PR. But there's a much better turret that's already in production somewhere in the military. And once again, you must remember that there are limitations to the robots and that the robots are still under control of authorities. Don't try to use them in crime.
Robbery suspect in Southern California flees in a driverless Waymo vehicle, which did not last long.
Waymo knows to pull over when it sees flashing lights behind it. And they got him pretty easily. Robbing a grocery store. Not a lot you can get from that. And this is a fun little piece of doom, right? Because it points out that as we rush into this new age of robots and so forth, our infrastructure is really, really bad.
Why America is stuck with an elevator crisis. Turns out a lot of our elevators are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. There's been a lot of consolidation in elevator companies. The parts are not standardized necessarily. It can be hard to get replacement parts, and people with expertise to work on these safely don't really exist anymore. Or if they do, they're busy building new ones. And so what are you faced with if you're a building owner with an old elevator? They have to retrofit a new elevator into your old building, which is ludicrously expensive.
So basically, they just say, take the stairs. Not everybody can do that, though.
Yeah, that's not really fair.
And this seems a little unfair because, these gals, they get kind of a raw deal, right? Like, what do you get out of the equation? I guess salvation? I don't know. But Pope Francis, he's got some nasty things to say.
Pope Francis criticizes unfriendly nuns with quote-unquote nasty vinegar faces and tells them to stop speaking with the devil. Vinegar face in this is not that they're inherently ugly, but that they don't smile and they don't seem warm. And it's like it's like religious. It's like you are conveying joy and this kind of stuff, and you just seem really unhappy. You shouldn't. If you're really committed to this religious thing, you are actually happy. Is what he was saying.
Just got the resting bitch face, Like that's.
Now, my favorite comment though, and they kind of like this sub headline here. They left out the important part of this because it was about
not to gossip.
Yeah,
It's like don't gossip, and I know this is a lot to ask of women, and it's like whoa,
dude. Never let anyone say that men don't gossip, because I hear just as much from men.
I hear a herald of affability. It's like you should be a herald of affability, and it's like that is a fun way to put that.
There's something about humans that we love to give bad news, and dish the dirt, which is it's a terrible thing that we do.
I think I saw a story this week that was something like humans need to gossip or something, and I was like, well, I don't know if it's that.
But because our whole superpower is socialization, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how we defeated all the other animals. So it kind of makes sense. Although now we're just going to be in our own little world with our robots.
In the Galactic Federation.
Arizona, how did they ever get this law in Arizona? I don't know. I mean, I do agree with parents' rights, but dear God, was this a bad idea? And shout out to this tattoo artist who kept this girl from making an even worse mistake.
Tattoo artist criticized for giving a 9-year-old girl an American flag tattoo. She'd come in to get a tattoo of Donald Trump on her neck, but her parents and her were talked into putting it on her arm, a flag on her arm.
Neck tattoo, I would say never. Donald Trump neck tattoo? You're 9 years old. When she turns 18, how much will the world even remember Donald Trump?
Also, I don't know about here or where it was, Arizona, you said?
Right.
Yeah. Like in Kentucky, I think you have to be 18, or if it's with parental permission, you have to be at least 16.
Here, it's fair game no matter what, as long as the parents are in the room the entire time, which they were. And they, again, wanted the Trump on the neck.
How does that, as you get bigger, like you're so little when you're 9, like
it makes
does
no
it just
sense.
like stretch out?
It would have to, right?
Yeah.
You have like just a horrible disfigured Trump.
Oh.
It would have been fun to see how that turns out, but it wouldn't be fun for her, I don't think. And this is like, why did you have the sheriff's department in your text, right? Are you in a group chat with the sheriff's department? Doesn't make any sense.
Woman arrested after accidentally texting sheriff's department instead of a local drug dealer. She must have been known to the system because, as you alluded to, it was a narcotics investigator that was in her phone that she'd helped, I guess, on a previous case. So it's like, oh, I don't know. And so she showed up and they arrested her for a bunch of things that it was weird, though. It was like paraphernalia and some other charges, but they didn't really seem like they were all that serious compared to trying to acquire a drug.
I guess they didn't have any on hand to actually sell her, so they couldn't charge her with purchase. Well, Krista, I thought about you when I read this story because we all know that Dark Krista is out there.
Is out there.
She's in somewhere in England, right? Serving some time for murder, which makes you even more at risk because your doppelganger is already a murderer.
German woman convicted of murdering her doppelganger in an attempt to fake her own death. So this is a lady that was from Iraq, and she had a failed marriage, and she wanted to make sure that they couldn't find her anymore. So she wanted to fake her own death, and a poor innocent person that was a lookalike died.
Stabbed her 56 times.
Yeah.
That seems excessive.
It does. She apparently didn't understand that, like dental records are a thing.
Yeah.
So it didn't go anywhere. They immediately knew that it wasn't that girl. She also tried to have her brother-in-law contract killed, but that didn't work for some reason.
What an elaborate family drama that is.
Well, apparently her marriage had failed, and I guess like in that culture,
Yeah,
she's
it's a big deal.
sort of trapped, I guess,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know. And here's a story that you see over and over and over, and it just is shocking what people will do to get into the casino.
Woman accused of leaving children in a cold car in a casino parking lot pleads not guilty. It's probably not going to go well for her, though. It's pretty egregious.
That is a crazy addiction, man. And the old water, where does it come from? Now, I know that my purified bottled water probably just comes from a tap somewhere, right? Or a hose, out in the back of the factory or whatever. But they purify it. That's the point. I don't really care, but they are lying.
The judge in this says the judge will not dismiss a lawsuit claiming Poland spring water is not from a spring. This is not, the headline is not technically wrong here. So Nestle was selling Poland spring water, which is from a place called Poland Spring, or Poland Spring identifies it. But then Nestle made the mistake of calling it 100% natural spring water. And that is what the judge took an issue with. Judge is like, yes, this you can call it, Poland spring water, even though it's like municipal water or whatever from there. But you can't call it 100% natural spring water because it's not from a natural spring. It's from a place called Poland Springs, but that's not necessarily a spring. It's misleading. And Nestle's like, oops.
Now,
Our bad.
Poland Spring, the spring itself apparently dried up years ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Probably because, someone's been taking from
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Now, this is a story, we've probably done this, like 5 times.
But it's so funny every time.
Every time there's a polar vortex that hits Florida and they get freezing temperatures, you got to run this story.
Florida residents warned to prepare for falling iguanas amid temperature drop because they hang out in the trees and they just get so slow, they let go and they fall.
Oh.
Bro.
It's
Help
so
me.
cold.
Don't just let me sit here.
They don't have to freeze because, they're cold-blooded and they're not used to anything. So it only has to get down to like the high 30s for these guys to start dropping out.
I've been able to see where the birds have been all week, which is cute. Like on our porch where snow has blown in, you can see where they're.
I can see all the animal tracks coming from the field next to my house. Up to my house. Like, what are they doing here? Now, here's a terrifying story of what sounds like a really, really miserable existence for a crocodile. But, it adapts, right? Life finds a way.
Orange dwarf cave crocodiles. The crocs crawled into a cave, ate bats, and started mutating into a new species. Because they're crocs eating bats in a cave. Cave croc.
And swimming in bat poop. That is their life. They live in bat poop, they eat bats and cave crickets. And they're probably blind. Because why do they need to see? What
fresh, horrible disease is going to come out of that cesspool?
I'm thinking more of like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles type of deal, right?
They can infect other people to turn into turtles.
No, I think they'll fight crime.
Oh, okay.
And they're, like the villain will be a bat.
Yeah.
Oh, they could go against Batman. And here's some good, cute little kitties. Man, I would love to adopt them.
Lynx captured after illegal release in the Scottish Highlands.
This is an update. I actually put this in earlier in the week, and they had just released them, like whoever released them.
And then they were trapped, because they probably wouldn't have survived anyway, but they don't belong in the Scottish Highlands.
Look how cute they are.
Wouldn't you just love to pet that thing?
Yeah. They said that they probably wouldn't survive because they weren't acclimated to the environment in this particular case, and also they haven't been vetted for diseases. We need to make sure they don't spread stuff to other wildlife.
Don't release random animals into the wild, please. Well, these were kind of short. People are going to complain.
That's okay.
Sorry,
guys.
There's been a lot of weather, and it's also the beginning of the year, so there hasn't been a lot of news either.
Well.
And it's currently snowing. Apparently, we're getting another huge snow.
Yeah.
We have to rush home.
Yeah, we weren't even doing this at the normal time because we don't want to be trapped.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys in the next one.
And we've still got a live stream to do.
Yeah.
Look for that.
Weather permitting.
Yeah, weather permitting. Bye.